There is a movement. And that is what the life of Abraham reveals, the pattern of a movement of men that are not just moving because there's a crisis and they are moving to safety, but these ones are moving because they hear God. They are not just moving away from danger. There is a pattern in their movement. That was the kind of movement that Agabus the prophet moved to Antioch. They were running a prayer cell in Jerusalem. The church was under serious persecution. And the reason for the persecution was that the elders of the church did not want to embrace the apostolic responsibility of allowing the church to migrate and spread from Jerusalem to Judea to Samaria to the uttermost part of the earth. They had a big thing going in Jerusalem and they wanted to camp there. And God came and busted their bubble by bringing persecution their way. And when they began to scatter, people began to scatter on the strength of the persecution. But there were some people that migrated. Not because of persecution. They migrated because they heard the voice of God. Agabus and his team knew in the spirit that God was about to set up a new headquarters, a new revival headquarters. He was migrating from Jerusalem. He was moving his resources in terms of human resources from Jerusalem, and a new apostolic headquarters that will oversee the infiltration of the tribes of the Gentiles will have to be set up. And that was the Antioch church. You see, Peter operated from Jerusalem. He was one of the actors. But Paul operated from Antioch. And it was in Antioch that the believers were first called Christians. There is no son of Zion that will not travel this time. We are all in motion. We are all moving. But some are moving because of persecution. Some are moving because of marriage. Some are moving because of green pastures. I've never seen the kind of economic migration like that which we had in 2023. Movements, villages have been stripped of manpower, men and women, to Europe and America. Not because God spoke, but because the GDP has a negative figure. It's on red. But there were men that will never migrate until they hear a sound. Oh my God. Such was Abraham. The Bible says that he obeyed and he went out. But you see, he did not know where. He did not know where. So the substance that God furnished in the heart of Abraham, that occasioned his journey, was a substance that answered the question, where? You know that question, if you don't answer it, you will not travel. Where am I going? So in response to where am I going, what God did to him was that God administered his substance. And that substance was a potent substitute for where. I want to tell you that when you see people walk by faith, there is an economy that is operational in their heart that is responsible for their movement. There is a way God convinces them inside of the membrane. And in Abraham's case, he came to furnish a substance, and that substance was good enough for him to consider the question, where am I going, not important. The substance made that question not important. Where? No more important, because God had furnished a substance. And the Bible says faith is the substance. So can you see? This guy was traveling because he had a substance. And there was no need for him. If you see him on the road and you say, where are you going? He doesn't still know. But the substance he has received makes him know he can't stay. I'm going, I'm moving on. So the Lord has no obligation to explain all the details to you. All he does is that he just gives you the substance. And foolish men like Abraham, they journey. But at the end of the day, they will stumble on what? Inheritance. I will travel. I will not stay at home. I'm mobilized already, because God has decided to furnish a substance in my spirit. It's sufficient to answer my questions. No man with a substance ever misses his way. He went not knowing whither he went.